perfect timing. Perfect timing. What I'd like to do now, Nathan and Senator Vulakovich, do you want to, or Senator Vulakovich, would you like to come on up? I'm not sure he needs too much of an introduction, but I've asked him if he would come and speak to us and a little bit about consumer engagement.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I can tell you that I just came from Harrisburg and we didn't do too much damage today. There's always tomorrow. So good afternoon. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. Today, I'm sure there's a lot of you who do not know me. So I'm here today basically to introduce myself to you, tell a little bit about me, and let you know what I know about a little bit about the telemedicine part of it that is pretty exciting. I'd like to start off by one thing. Who here can tell me what CLIA means? It's an acronym, C-L-I-A. Okay.
I believe.
All right. Who can tell me what...
I'm not sure that I should use the microphone just in case I'm incorrect.
Okay.
But
how about CPO?
Computerized physician or provider order entry.
Okay. That's pretty good. How about... Here I go here. PAeHI, that's an easy one, right? All right. P and OOT. How about PWG? How about RACS? How about RIO, RHIO? Okay. SME? TTT? How about TPO? Yeah, somebody had that there. Well, anyways, I had them put all this together for me. And I said, you know, you come in with these acronyms and I just don't get it all. You've got to, like, let me know what they mean. Because just about everybody I talk to, whether it's the field of telephones or other tech, they come in, they have 3 to 4 pages of acronyms. So if you ever send me anything, I do have a little bit of somewhat of a dictionary here, but you'll need to probably explain it to me again. Here's some of the acronyms. In terms of background, I was born and raised in Allegheny County, Shaler Township, born in Etna. Is anybody from the North Hills of Pittsburgh here? Anybody? You are? What part? Oh, okay, University of Pittsburgh. And I, before actually getting involved in politics, I was a police officer for 27 years in my local municipality. And I was involved in pretty strong in developing a DARE program, which dealt with drug abuse and life skills. So I was pretty involved in the schools. In fact, for 5 years, all I did was work inside the schools every day, 5 days a week. And I had about 10 different schools that I worked in. And after I retired, I just decided I was going to pick up a part-time job and do a lot of volunteer work. And I was blessed with a very good career that I loved, and I wanted to kind of just give back a little bit. And somehow, I got reeled into running for office for state representative. I'm not quite sure how that all worked out, but my guy got himself in trouble. He's one of the ones you read in the paper all the time. And they came to me, I guess because I was a police officer, and said, why don't you run for office? And I said, you know, I love politics, the study of it, and I've always been interested in it ever since I was a young man. But I hate the sleaziness and the evilness of it, and I can tell you there's a lot to that. But I tried to hold my head above that and follow a certain course. I was in the House for 6 years. Almost 6 years, and then another person got themselves in trouble. So then they came to me and asked me to run for the Senate. I said no, and here I am. So I guess no's the answer to winning elections. I don't know. So I've been in now about 7 years in office, and right now I represent the northern part of Allegheny County and the southern part of Butler, and that will soon change. You will, with the new districts that are done. And during my tenure, I've been involved in several good government reform issues, including pushing the House to adopt a co-payment requirement for health care coverage. I know how expensive it is. I know how the general public out there are paying towards it. And I thought it was absolutely shameful that we in the House of Representatives did not pay a dime towards health care. So I was instrumental in doing that. It's still shameful what we pay, but we chip away at it, and I'm trying to increase that a little bit more in General Assembly. I will continue to push the administration, the House, and the Senate and Judiciary to adopt a uniform health care policy, co-pay policies. I think it's very important. I'm also adamant about the use of state cars. I hate the per diems, can't stand them. And there's some other issues that we could get into, but basically I am what they still laugh at sometimes as a reformer. I actually believe it. And it's hard working through those things, but I realize the one thing I learned in police work after 27 years, nothing stays the same. Everything changes. And I know I'm an old dinosaur in a sort. I'm a paper guy. I'll tell you right out, I'm a paper guy. I got to have paper. They laughed at me in the House because I would have paper all over my desk. I actually read everything. I'm not much of a tech guy, but I know things change. And I'm a good listener, and I analyze things. And I know that when it comes to certain things with technological advancements, especially the e-health initiative, I know it's a good thing. So I'm going to work on everything I can to kind of help things work out there. Now, for some reason, maybe it was my good looks because it wasn't my computer skills. I was appointed to the chairman of the Senate Communication Technology Committee. Actually, it was not my good looks. It was just that I was lowest on the list, and that committee was there, and so that's what I got. And I thought to myself, you know, I don't know. This is something I know nothing about. But once I got to committee and said, this is it, and I started bringing other people in that come in around the clock to see me about all the different avenues of it, I thought, this is good. I can learn something and I can do some good because I can get things done. I'm not a grandstander. You won't see me out in the media much. The only time I'm there is when they kind of beg me to come. But I do get things done. I work very well behind the scenes, and I can work well on both sides of the fence. And where we can compromise, we compromise. On the big issues we can't get around, we'll move them together. We'll move them aside for another day. Now, much like technology, I recognize as a legislator, I have a limited shelf life. And as such, my aim is to be as productive as possible during my tenure in the Senate, whether it's for 2 years or, well, my speechwriter has 10 years here. I'm sure I didn't give him that because I will not be here for 10 more years. I can assure you that. Now, the committee was formed, they tell me, by the Senate 20 years ago. In 1993, it was named the Communications and High Technology Committee and was charged with to deal with the telecommunications in Chapter 30, which is now under the purview of the Senate Consumer Protection and Professional Licensure Committee. As such, the committee has evolved over the past 20 years, dealing with the 911 system for cell phones, and we're working on that again. The PA Public Telephone Network, working on that again. Cybersecurity is going to be coming up. Biotech research centers, computer data theft, identity theft, the dual party relay service, telecommunication device distribution program, and spyware, data breaches, voice over the internet protocol, phishing, internet advertising by local governments, broadband deployment, Real ID, and finally to the PAeHI Health Partnership Act that's Act 21 of 2012. And it's important to note that in the House of Representatives, there's no companion committee. In terms of communications aspect of the committee, I recall the days of only a few electronic means of communication, the landline telephone, facsimile machines, and the big walkie-talkies. The other day I'm watching a movie, I guess it was from the late 80s, early 90s, and the phone was that big. And look where we're at today. And recently, for Mother's Day, we got my wife an iPhone, and she says, look at all the stuff you can do on here. And it's just amazing what can be done today. Now we have more devices: cell phones, smartphones, voicemail, texting, the internet, email, websites, Skype, VoIP, Facebook, Twitter, other social media. Now we have the cloud. And then, of course, we have big data. So, and I'm sure big data will have an important part to play with you guys. I know with the supercomputer that we have in Pittsburgh, it's a joint venture between Westinghouse and the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon University. I know there's a lot of things there where they want to bring in the big data and do analytic things for the state and anybody else they can do it for. And right now they're looking to buy a new one because they said every 3 or 4 years that supercomputer is kind of done. So now they're in the process competing with 6 other regions to get a supercomputer, a new one. With all these so-called technological conveniences, it would seem that life would be easy, but we know it's not always the case. Really, it seems that our challenge is how best to manage these various tools and how best to come up with truly universal communications remote control. And boy, would I like to have the patent on that device, but it certainly won't be me to make it. But, you know, maybe the best interest that I have is being a traffic cop. That's kind of what got me in here. So make sure we do the right thing the right way for the right reasons and help direct the flow of business as it pertains to technology, and certainly with regards to the medical field. With that in mind, and as the new chairman of the committee, we kicked off the year with a general hearing consisting of representatives from the administration, TechQuest broadband industry, the PA Telephone Association, wireless providers, and the e-health community. First action we took with the committee was to take up Senator PAeHI's data breach legislation requiring state and local agencies to report data breaches in 3 days to law enforcement and to the public within 7 days. No more holding back on that information. Decide what to do with it in 3 days, what the plan is going to be, and let it out in 7. We'll soon be taking up 2 bills as part of the Senate Child Protection Package, establishing a database for child abuse reports, Senate Bill 24, that's mine, and a 1-800 number for reporting child abuse, Senate Bill 26. I will also be introducing a bill, Kelsey's Act, that would expedite law enforcement getting access to cell phone locations during emergencies. We're also monitoring the Kimber Project, the Keystone Initiative for the network-based education and research to ensure that the project is truly sustainable. In terms of e-health, we're at the cusp of making extraordinary progress. Thanks to the e-health initiative and the corporate administration e-health collaborative, we were able to pass Senate Bill 8 from the last section establishing the e-health authority. The authority is challenged with bringing a host of competing interests together to get to the point of establishing an electronic health information system so we can go to the doctor in Harrisburg, and I had that experience. My medical information can be obtained almost instantly so that our doctors can do what they need to do and get make quick educated decisions, and ultimately save lives. I recently had a kidney stone, and I don't know how many of you have ever had a kidney stone. It's really something. So I'm sitting in my hotel room, and I'm looking out my window, and I see Holy Spirit Hospital. I stay at the Radisson. And I said, you know, as many times I looked out the window, I never noticed that. I guess I was praying to God, but whoa, pain. And I looked up there, and I saw Holy Spirit. So I head over there, and I said, hey, I got a kidney stone. How do you know? I said, you've had one, you know. They said, well, okay, we'll take you back in the room. So then they go and they said, well, we got to see how to treat you. Who's your doctor? I give my doctor, get phone number. They said, we got to get your records. Well, 1 hour goes by, 1 hour before they could get my records and give me the stuff I need to take his pain away from me. So here you got this guy in a suit, looks pretty respectable, but he's walking around with this crazed look on his face in a circle around the hall for 1 hour because you can't sit and you can't lay. So you just walk and walk and walk. Finally, they said, we got your records. Looked at it, knew what they gave me. They give me within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It was great. And then I actually laid on, because I was so exhausted from being up all night, I laid on the cot. They came in to wake me up, and they said, Senator, or representative at the time. He said, "It's time for you to leave." And I said, "Do you really need this room?" And they said, "No." I said, "Can I just lay here again?" So I stayed there, and they let me sleep here for a while. And it was a good experience, except for the waiting for the records. Now with eHealth and with initiatives, and we get the system done right, bang, I got my medicine, and I'm out of pain pretty quick. And then all I got to worry about is getting rid of that baby passing on to me, which is a really bad experience. Now, while there are many positives with technology and vast potential, my first rule of thumb is do no harm. Do no harm. One of the major downsides is the cybersecurity. Recently, there was a Congressman, Scott Perry. He was actually a member of our House. He's a member of the Homeland Security Subcommittee, stated that billions are lost each day from cyber hacking. He stated that there are those that have been hacked and those who don't know it yet. Nonetheless, I'm supportive of the exchange of the health insurance information, but I want it to be done in a very careful fashion and make sure we do everything we do to prevent any problems with it. I'm particularly intrigued and excited about telemedicine. I had the privilege of touring Children's Hospital telemedicine, and I really came away blown away. They took me in a room, sat me down, and they said, "We're taking you to Brazil." I said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" They said, "Well, that screen's right there. We have a camera on you, and we have a camera in Brazil, and we're going to take you into a room," and it was an intensive care room for young children. And I said, "To Brazil?" I said, "Yeah." The picture was crystal clear. And then they showed me how they could zero in on things with a clear picture. And they said, what they can do down there that we can do up here, we don't have to go down there to do it. We can be right up here. We can look at what the problem is, and we can assess it and then come up with some solution to that problem. And how fantastic is that? And they actually showed me the extent of the quality of that picture by a little scar on someone's arm, and they brought it all the way through, and it was absolutely amazing. And especially, I was in Children's Hospital, and it's a unique place in Pittsburgh. And when you see those children in intensive care, it just breaks your heart. And when you know that maybe they don't have all the resources down there they have or all the expertise, it's just like a click away, and it's there, and it's coming from the United States. So it's a wonderful thing, wonderful thing. Senate Appropriations Committee Chairman Jake Corman, a past chairman of the Senate Communication Technology Committee, recently made a statement about the reauthorization of Chapter 30 dealing with broadband deployment, that technology always outlasts regulation and law, and that we ought to be making law based on the future and not the past. I think the statements make a lot of sense as we look forward. To be clear, our agenda is not fully fleshed out of session yet, but we're only in the beginning stages. But I am open to hearings or forums on issues of importance. You got something you want to talk about, you want to get it out there, I'll be there for you. Overall, it's still clear. It's still early in the legislative session, but the defining issues are clear. A little bit off the subject, but we have major pieces of legislation we have to do with pension reform, transportation, and liquor privatization. And we have to address all these issues, and I'm working hard with the governor. And by the way, the governor happens to be my constituent, so he lives about 2 miles from my house at most, only because in Pittsburgh you got to run all the way around to get anywhere you want to go with the hills. And so if he wants something in his hometown, he's got to come see me. He's put forth a budget, and I've had an opportunity to play a role in there in recent hearings because I'm also on the Appropriations Committee. And with that, I'm pretty much going to wrap up, but basically close by saying this. I'm not a high-tech guy. I believe putting everything out on the table. So I don't want your expectations to be way up in the sky saying, well, we can go in and talk to this tech guy. They wouldn't put him on there if he wasn't high tech. But where your expectations can be high is that I'm a good listener. And if it's something we need to try to get done, I'll do everything I can to try to get it done. So that's where your expectations can be high with me. I am not one, when you come in to see me, I will generally ask a lot of questions. I'm known for that. And chances are you come in again, I might ask you some of the same questions over again. But that's just showing that I care about it, and I really want to move on in the areas that we need, that we know that we need to move on in those areas. And I can tell you, I'm really excited about this. The truth of the matter was, when I got to committee, I was a little disappointed because there's so many other areas I do know some stuff about. This wasn't one of them, but I'm excited about it now, especially after I made that trip to Children's Hospital. And they tell me now they're like 98 or 99% paperless. All right, well, you know, I like paper. But the doctors have told me that they were resistant to it at first too. They were used to doing things a certain way. But they learned by talking to a lot of people like you that this is the future and there must be change. And we have to change with it. And whatever I can do to help move towards that area, to that direction of change, I certainly will be there to help you out. I have an open mind, and I'm a great listener. So with that, I guess I'll close it up. I don't know if any of you have any questions, but I enjoyed being here today, especially to introduce myself to you. And my committee, my legislative director for my committee is Nate Silcox. Nate, stand up so everybody can get a good look at you. What a good-looking man, huh? Nate's been around in Harrisburg for a long time. He's a really good guy. I'm so happy to have him as my committee director. And my door is always open. I am not one of those people that will sit in my office and tell you I'm on the phone, and I'm not. Also, people can walk up to my office without an appointment, and if I've got time in there, free time, and they come back, I'll say, send them back. Maybe I can only give you 5 minutes, but maybe it's just one thought you want to give me to think about, and maybe you can see me the next time I come to Harrisburg. And my door is always open to you. I'm in charge of this committee now, and I will help you. Okay? Thank you so much.